Onto B major. Onto F sharp. Onto D flat.
Tremendous good information that's in the front of those books. Like, play the chord up to the ninth and then the scale down. Genius.
Hello everyone, my name is Lorcan and my voice is weird today. Every time people pick up the guitar and do warm-up exercises, they're always super chromatic, super boring, and I think I found a better way. I think I found a more interesting, more music theory involved way. If you're someone who doesn't know a whole lot about music theory, but kind of wants to get into it and wants to understand, you know, what the guitar is, and like a lot of people say, no one's ever regretted learning music theory, then I've actually found a warm-up exercise that will suit you. A lot of times when anyone ever picks up the guitar, all of the exercises that we learn are stuff that's like etc, etc. It's asking you to build up speed, it's asking you to move up and down to get your kind of hands connected. And don't get me wrong, they're great, still keep doing them. But when I was researching and when I was doing other bits in college, the easiest way for me to put something down and learn something in terms of music theory and how it sounds was to put all of my knowledge into transcribing and learning arpeggios and learning the major scale. Now, if that sounds confusing, do not worry, this is going to be okay. So basically, the whole exercise is playing a major arpeggio up until the 9th degree of the scale, and then descending the major scale to the original root. If I haven't lost you, don't worry. The reason why it's really good is because we're learning arpeggios, we're playing the major scale, we are learning how to kind of improvise without kind of making, you know, just kind of moving up and down. And the way the exercise is organized is that we are cycling through the circle of fifths or the circle of fourths. And if that is something that confuses you, it basically, the circle of fifths or the circle of fourths is just a way to organize all of our keys based on how many sharps and flats they have. That's all. So the first key will be C major, and that would cycle through, and then we move on to our next key in G major, and that would cycle through, and so on and so forth, because G major has one sharp. Then we move to D major, which has another sharp. So you might be thinking, what the hell does all this mean? I'll show you. So I'll play the first couple of them, and then we'll zoom in and we'll play them all together with a big load of tab, and you can work from there. And at the end we can talk about, you know, minor arpeggios and half diminished arpeggios and dominant arpeggios. But right now we're going to stick to this and we're going to move through this. So we start and we're going to play them all within the first 5 frets. And the reason why it's so great is because once you learn all these shapes up here, these can be moved up and down the neck. So you're learning a whole bunch in one exercise. None of your chromatic spider exercises about learning how to move up and down the neck. So we play the major 7th arpeggio up to the 9th degree. Don't worry, there'll be tabs for this. And then descend, but play every note on the way down. Okay, so that's it again from the start. And then we move to G, which will be, we can play it from here. And as you can see, we're having these big large leaps in the first half of the exercise. Then moving to D. And then moving to A. See how all of these arpeggios are within the first 5 frets, and then you move to E. And this is great for learning and improvising and learning the major scale. And after a while, at the end of all of it, you'll be able to piece all the arpeggios together in one key. So all these different shapes apply to one key all of a sudden. So it'll be stuff like... that's C, and then you'd be like, here is C, and you'd be like, here is C, and all of a sudden your neck has just exploded in theory. You know how to play all these different shapes. Great, let's jump in and zoom in, and we'll play the arpeggio on the screen behind me here in a circle of fifths, and we'll just go through all of it in a nice slow tempo, and you can play along. Great, so let's move through this really, really slowly. If you are finding it difficult or too fast, just slow down the video and the bar down here. The tab will also be up on screen, so if this is too fast or you want to pause, work away. Let's just learn all these shapes together and take it nice and slow. So, starting from C major. G major. D major, onto A, onto E major, onto B major, onto F sharp, onto D flat, onto A flat, onto E flat, onto B flat, onto F, and back to C. Here it is in So that last one there was in thirds, so you could just see how when we change it up a little bit, it becomes way more melodic as opposed to just doing an exercise. So the perfect thing about this exercise is, as you can see, we kind of just moved it all within these first 5 frets. But you know these shapes now, and you know that I learned this shape for E, and you're like, okay, perfect. And you can move that anywhere on the fretboard, and that's that shape for that major 9th arpeggio. And like I said, it's just an exercise, so you can play half the exercise. And it sounds really melodic. You can play over at A. And it sounds great as well. It doesn't really matter where you're playing it. And this is just for the major, so I will do another lesson in future on the different types of arpeggios, but just for example, like if we throw out the C minor arpeggio, nice, right? Nice little C minor arpeggio. Or if you play like a G minor arpeggio, all of these shapes sound way more melodic now, and your improvisation will be so much better. Instead of playing your normal boring exercises, you've kind of expanded into playing these kind of way more melodic exercises. And the fact that you're playing in all 12 major keys as well is a really, really helpful exercise, because you can hear all the different keys and you can hear how they sound when you're playing these arpeggios. So when it comes to transcription, and when it comes to you learning stuff and learning how to write stuff and transcribe stuff, you all of a sudden have this ability. You have this, like, you're like, I think that's in B major. You can play a B there, and you're like, I can play a B over here. And all of a sudden, you can play B in all these different places in the neck. Great. So practice that. If you want to go backwards, you can do that as well. If you want to start in C, then move to F and go the opposite way. They're also great. Great exercises as well, and learning the circle of fourths and how things sound the opposite way. Perfect. So yeah, that is the entire video. I hope you learned something from this exercise. I hope you bring it into your playing and that you use it when you're improvising or when you use your practice routine. I actually stole it from Bob Reynolds, who's an amazing saxophone player. I will link the video where he plays it himself somewhere here, if I could find it, because it was a long time ago. I just remember transcribing it. For anyone who's looking for an MP3 or just a big PDF of them licks, they're in the description. You can just take them. You can download them for free, it's okay. If you like the video, consider subscribing. If you're still here, not a lot of people watch the end of these videos. So if you're still here, thank you so much. I appreciate all your support, people who message me on the daily saying how much these lessons help them. Thank you so much. It means everything to me. It means that I'm able to keep doing these lessons and keep, putting out content for people. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope everyone is playing C major 9 arpeggios now. Thank you, have a great day.